Hello, work wifey. Welcome to the Dear Work Wives podcast. I'm
Good
Adrian.
morning. I'm
Good morning.
Emily.
And we're here to help you create work cultures that don't suck.
And don't suck. We have some good stories today.
I'm excited. I haven't even read them, so it's going to be like a surprise for me too.
Yeah, I'll feed them all to you because I have read them. So that way you can be surprised. You can have your in the moment reactions. Some good ones though. And before we dive in, I want to remind people, keep those stories coming. dearworkwives.com. Submit your stories, please, because
it's all anonymous.
Yeah.
But we need your stories because we want to talk about you and hopefully help you, or at least just commiserate with you.
Exactly. Trauma bond with you. So
yes,
if nothing else. Before we dive in, let's hear, how was your girls' trip?
It was good. If you can tell, I'm like nasally and sick. I kind of got a little sick right before I left.
Right before we were all like, well, you're like, I'm just not on Thursday. I'm not feeling well. We were all like, no.
And sure enough, it developed into this like head cold and cough that Kit has. So I know that I got it from my germy toddler.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm probably still sick because I did not take care of myself over the weekend. I didn't like sit around and
rest and drink bone broth and lemon. And
no, not that I would have been able to do that with my kids anyways, but I did not do it with my friends. Like I still had a good time. We went out to brunches and dinners and by the pool. I partook in some adult beverages, like it was a good time.
Yeah.
Had a great time. And I'm too old for it. So next girls trip, I requested like, could we like go hiking or something? Like
yes, a little wellness mixed with,
we go to Miraval
with Tom Sandoval and Raquel. You can meet them there.
Yeah, I need to go on like a retreat. I need to go like to a spa or something.
Totally. Absolutely. That was my last girls' weekend away. We went out for dinner the night before and we stayed at just like a basic hotel. It was fun though. And then the next day we spent the whole day at a Nordic spa. Actually, the spa that you gave me a gift card for my birthday.
Oh, nice.
It was the best day of we were there from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and it was the best day of my entire life. It was during dry March, so I didn't have a cocktail, but lots of people were drinking Prosecco and I really wanted a glass. I felt like it was the perfect mix of wellness and like a cocktail. It was dreamy. So
I don't have like good Nordic spas like that down here. It's like
because it's too hot.
I guess, yeah.
Because we went and it was still chilly outside, and so the hot tubs felt really nice. And then the plunge pool, you're in and out so fast. Anyway, I don't know. This is just a sign you need to book your flight up here, and then we'll go to a Nordic spa.
Okay,
done.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So if you can tell, I'm, not feeling 100% right now. And my mom, Mary, pointed out that she was listening to one of the episodes because on Monday she like messaged me and she's like, how was your girls' trip? And I was like, good, except I'm sick now. And she was like, wait, I was just listening to one of your Dear Work Wives episodes and you were sick then too.
Like a month ago.
I know. I was like, I think I'm just sick every month because of my germy toddler.
You will be. Like just buckle
once
in.
a month. I just have, and it's like the same symptoms. It's like the same exact cold that I had a month ago. So here I am, sick again. And I was listening to one of our episodes yesterday, which might be a little narcissistic. I don't know.
No, I listen to everyone. I need to hear it back.
I know. I need to like hear what I can do
myself.
Better.
Yeah.
Yes, it's for improvement purposes, right?
100%.
And my voice is really annoying. Do you find your voice to be annoying?
My ears bleed every time I listen.
Yours is not annoying to me, but mine is like, so I have such a deep voice. I'm like, oh,
it's horrendous.
And now I sound even deeper with my like nasally cold.
Yeah, you could be like a phone sex operator right now with that voice.
So it does not sound sexy to me. It sounds like, just not good. It's not cute.
Yeah, I have the same. I can't stand myself. And let's be real, in almost everything I do, I can't stand myself, but it's okay. Same. I don't feel that about you at all. So it's just
I don't feel it about you either.
Self-preservation tactics.
Relatable.
Yeah.
No one really likes their own voice, right?
Yeah. So true. It's so true. It's awful.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So weekend was great. And now we just have a lot going on with work stuff. So I feel like bam, I just got like thrown right back into it, you know?
Yeah. Catapulted into the deep end.
Yeah. How about you? What's going on?
Weekend was really good. One of my very close bestest friends is having a baby this Sunday. She's being induced.
Okay.
We had a baby shower for her and her partner, her boyfriend, on Saturday at our house. And it was so cute. I haven't thrown a baby shower in a very, very long time. And it was so nice. And you're going to love this. My friend and I got together, and the gift we got them was an outfit to match every Taylor Swift era.
You did it.
I did it. It was so cute.
Oh
so
God.
That was really nice. And then it just was a good week. I'm a huge hockey fan. It was a great week for hockey. The Toronto Maple Leafs advanced. The Boston Bruins didn't. The Seattle Kraken did. So it was just a great weekend for hockey. And I shared this on the team call, but you weren't there because you weren't feeling well. Yeah. James and I have been playing Super Mario U Deluxe for 2 years, trying to beat it. And we beat it on Sunday night.
Oh.
And I know that sounds so lame, but it's something that we've been doing together.
Yeah.
And we'll play for like an hour, and then we won't play again for 2 months because we don't have the time.
Yeah.
And our kids have been chirping us like, when are you going to beat Bowser? And we did. And it was really
Good
fun.
job.
So
have you seen the Super Mario the movie yet?
Yes, we took the kids last week on Cheap Tuesday night here. Do you have Cheap Tuesdays at the movie theaters there?
No.
Okay, well,
if we do, I don't know.
You're like, I would not know.
I don't know. Maybe we do.
Tuesdays here is cheap. And so we took the kids on a Tuesday night, and we had popcorn for dinner and saw the movie, and it was so cute.
Was it good?
It's really good. I mean, we're Mario fans.
Take Kit. I think he's going to take her this weekend. Maybe.
She will love it. It's so cute. We're actually going to see
movies.
Who doesn't. Do you get her popcorn?
Yeah, she told Tyler, she was like, Daddy, I want to go to the movies, because she wants to see The Little Mermaid, which it's not out yet, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's coming later this month. But I was like, oh, you could go take her to see Super Mario or whatever. And so he told her, he said, oh, you want to go to the movies this weekend? And she said, yeah, and we can get popcorn? Like,
yeah. That's the old reason to go.
So yes, that must be part of the experience. You know, it's a must. But Tyler told me that because he's going to go see something else on Friday or something. I don't know what.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yes,
yeah, we're going on Tuesday. We bought our tickets last night.
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So he was going, and he said that he was like telling me that there's this new thing at our movie theater where you can schedule your snack delivery to your chair.
That's genius, because I eat all my popcorn before the movie even starts.
That's what I said. I was like, because he was like, I'm kind of embarrassed. Like, it's too new. I don't want to do it yet and be like the only one and whatever. And I was like, no, it's genius, because when I get there, you buy the snack before you go and sit down. And then I eat the whole thing before the movie even starts.
Yeah, but during the credits and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I would love to have it, maybe 30 minutes into the movie, they come and bring it to me.
Yeah. He should do it. I'll follow up with him.
Yeah,
maybe
I'll tell him. Order it for him. Be like, what seat are you going to be at? And then I'll just like order it for him.
Yes. That's also the nice thing now about how like you pick your seat. I don't feel like you have to show up so early to the movies to make sure you get a good seat.
Yeah.
So I do think the snack lasts longer into the movie now, because now we'll show up like 5 minutes before showtime as opposed to 30 minutes before showtime if you wanted a good seat and the movie's popular.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was our weekend. It was very low-key family, lots of family time, but it was exactly what I needed. And I told James, I need more downtime. I need to be less busy, more Mario.
Is that a product of James booking you solid, or you?
No, that's me. That's 1,000% me. I book myself so full that I was like already.
Emily, I don't think this is James's doing.
No, I just need him to hold me accountable, because I say that, and then we're having friends over for dinner on Wednesday, and then we have a full weekend. We're going to Great Wolf Lodge, and then I have a birthday dinner on Saturday, and then my friend's being induced on Sunday. So I'm like, I told her I'd be on call if her other kids need anything. I don't know if they will, but I want to be around. And this is like, some of our best friends. So we need to be here. And then we're going to see Mario or Guardians next weekend. I'm just like, I have no chill, but I want it.
James, I want more chill, please. He's like, okay.
Then stop making plans.
Please.
So yeah. Anyway, good times.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always wanted to go to a Great Wolf Lodge. They're actually getting one in Naples, which is like just a little bit north of where my dad lives, but I don't think it's going to be done until like 2024, but I'll definitely go there once
I'm excited. We were supposed to go last year on Mother's Day weekend, and then we all got sick, and so we had to cancel it. And we're going this year instead. And I love it there. My kids love it there. Now they're tall enough to do everything.
Mother's Day weekend, right?
No, it's not. It's not. No, but last year that's what we were supposed to do. Mother's Day weekend was go to Great Wolf Lodge, and the next time we could go was a whole year later. So because I have no chill. So
yeah, Kit told me she came home from school yesterday and said, I said, oh, how was school? And she said, oh, there's a holiday coming up. And I was like, oh, is there? Like I thought Memorial Day or something. Like, it's Mother's Day. She said, we're making a secret though. Can't tell the parents. Oh. Okay, don't tell me.
Don't tell me. Yeah. So cute.
Terrible at secrets. So I know it'll crush her heart if she ruins it.
If she spills the beans.
Want to ask again. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't ever bring it up again.
No.
I went Sunday to a market with friends in the morning, and because I have no chill, and then on my way home, we were shorter time than I thought we would be. And I got home like 2 minutes before my husband and 2 children. They went out to go for a drive, in air quotes. Oh. And I was like, oh yeah, go for a drive. Pretty sure they drove to Winners to get me a Mother's Day gift, but I am so excited to hear what it is.
What is Winners?
Oh, it's like Marshall's, HomeSense.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
TJ Maxx.
We have that. Yeah, we have that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Yeah. They're so cute when they try, and then I like spoiled it by coming home faster than they thought I would. Yeah. But I love it. Yeah. Okay, should we dive in?
Shall we?
Okay.
We shall. Yeah.
All right. First story was submitted by Need a Break. Okay. I work a job that requires me being on the road Monday to Thursday, and I have no flexibility on that schedule. Roughly every other week, we have a meeting on Friday for about an hour. But that same meeting happens on Wednesday, so you could go to it if you can. I'm in my 5th year in the company and still at 2 weeks vacation. With kids, appointments, a partner who also works, and death in the family, those 2 weeks disappear quickly. I have 4 days left and would love to take a trip with my wife, but my bosses have historically made us use a vacation day for that 5th day of the week, so the day they're not on the road. Even though there's no guarantee there would be a meeting and no one would need to cover me if I was out. How do I talk to them about trying to take that 5th day off, or do I have to just suck it up and take a shorter vacation?
I would definitely talk to them. Like, do not just suck it up here, because there's no reason that you need, like, because you could go to the Wednesday meeting, right? Sounds like the same meeting happens Wednesday. You can go to that one. Yeah. There's literally nothing that you're missing. There's nothing that anyone has to cover for. This is one of those things that like costs the company nothing to allow you to do. Yeah. But costs them a lot in terms of culture if they say no to this, like, because it's just like, there's literally no reason. And maybe you approach the conversation of like, is there a reason I couldn't, like what, so that you can understand maybe where they're coming from. If there is a reason they need you on that 5th day, or to take that 5th day as a vacation, is there, something in terms of equity or equality with other people? Do other people maybe not have a 5th day, or it's the same across the board? Right. That's kind of what I would be thinking of as an employer. Like, is everything equal here for other people, or would this be seen as unfair to someone else who doesn't get that 5th day just because you have like a Monday through Thursday and Friday is the 5th day? Yeah. But I think it's always worth the ask. And I think just communicating like that you are going to be covered, you're going to attend this meeting, like be proactive about like everything's covered. Yeah. And I would love to use this 5th day as a vacation day, because hint, hint, I also only have 2 weeks vacation. Like why? Yeah. But it doesn't, to me, from my perspective, it doesn't affect anyone else for you to take this day as a vacation.
Like this admin day. Like it's essentially, you know, there's a 50-50 chance that you're going to have to go in for a 1-hour meeting and to have to use an entire vacation day for that on the off chance, you know, like to have your vacation not approved on the off chance that there's a 1-hour meeting. I mean, I work in such a generous culture with vacation time that I always get frustrated with these. I will say that like, I'm sure there's like other personal time or something. I don't know. I would be curious, like if there's other, you know, time that you can use, but I used to work this, I used to live this struggle of having like what feels like very limiting vacation time, especially when you have kids and a life, you know, like I know when I did the work, what did we do? We did our RLC team retreat. My husband had to take a vacation day to be able to help be home with the kids to school, you know?
Yeah.
So I get it. I think it's like so limiting, but to your point, it needs to be equitable, right? And so for everyone,
right,
in the company,
that would be the only thing that I could see them like needing to justify, like as the employers, you know, but otherwise, like it sort of feels like this doesn't cause
like a power move.
Yeah. But I would definitely ask. I wouldn't just shuck it up. I wouldn't just suck it up and take a shorter vacation. I think if anything, you know, it's always worth it to ask and communicate from, you know, professionally from your perspective, like how you could make it work to take that as one of your days, and then be prepared if they say no to still take the day, maybe as PTO, like
unpaid time
or
personal, you know. Yeah.
Don't tell them when it is, and maybe just take a sick day. No.
Or you know, roll the dice on if you'll even need it, because if it sounds like there's no meeting, you wouldn't be working anyway that day, so it's like you got to roll the dice. But
like if there was no meeting, they would never even know that you were gone. Is that kind of how we're assuming? So man, like companies need to do better with their PTO and their flexibility on things like this, just because the world that we live in allows us to do more work from home, from like in shorter periods of time, just as the technology we have. And like, it's just not necessary to
have so much control over
have so much
every aspect of
and restriction. Like, and the same kind of principles apply to even unlimited PTO. Actually, I was on my girls' weekend, I was talking to one of my friends who at a previous company, she said like she has kind of some of the same challenges with unlimited PTO, which I know you and I have talked about before. Like if there's not like a number, like then it feels also very unclear, right? Like you need to be clear with what people can and can't do without like exerting some level of control. But she had like unlimited PTO at her organization, and she went ahead, and she has 2 small children, so she went ahead and like took PTO for all the days that her girls were home from daycare, right? Like that she was going to have them home, and she doesn't have any other form of childcare. So like she was going to be home all of those days as like PTO.
Yeah.
And her boss was like, I'm really concerned that you're like taking all this PTO for your children, because like, what if you need more time like to rest or whatever? And she's like, okay, but like, first of all, it's my PTO, so like I can take it however I want. It's unlimited, so like what's the problem? As long as I'm like meeting my expectations here, you know. It's not really none of your business what I do with my PTO. And maybe you're trying to like be nice by saying, oh, you need more time now you're going to need more time to like rest, and I'm worried that you're not going to be able to take care of yourself. But also this is the reality of her life. So
right.
What is she going to do? You know, like, so
someone has to be off, you know, we don't all have jobs.
Yeah. So I think it's like unlimited PTO can cause just as much of a challenge for people too. So I think being just cognizant of the power structure and like what you really mean by that, and do you really mean that, and how can we better support people while still getting the company's needs met? Like to me, that's always the the goal and outcome of these conversations. And so like for advice for this person, like how can we come to a place where like the company is still getting their needs met, right? So going into your conversation with your, superior manager, whoever, like what are the needs of the company? How can I still meet those needs? And how can I still be supported with the current lifestyle that I have? My wife works, my kids and family deaths and all these things that I've had to take PTO for, but like I still need a vacation.
I still need to rest,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So especially when they have, I think the like PTO to me, it seems to always come down to control and how much control they want to have over your life outside of work sometimes. And I think historically, I mean, in Canada, you don't get like the minimum is 2 weeks vacation for the first 5 years, and then you go up to 3 weeks vacation. And then at 10 years, you go up to 4-week vacation. And, to think that you have to work somewhere for a decade of your life before you can take multiple 2 week vacation, you know what I mean? Or, it's such now that I work here, it's just such a wild concept to me because, and again, I understand not every business can do this. Like we're not talking about even this company where it sounds like there's people on the road. So there needs to be bodies covering people when they're out. You know, like I understand, like not everyone can just do unlimited willy-nilly, whatever they want to do.
Right. There are complexities to making sure the business can still run. Yes.
But how can we give as much as we can while still meeting the business needs and treating people like human beings?
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of times the control comes from like a place of fear, oh, they're not going to do their job if they're out or whatever. But studies all show that like when people take vacation, when they actually take their vacations, they're actually more productive
and happier.
Yeah. So I don't know what we're
a high priority.
afraid of and fighting here, but it seems very antiquated. So I hope you have the conversation and I hope it works out positively. But either way, don't suck it up and take a shorter vacation. You deserve some time. So
yeah, agreed. All right, next story is from Sensitive Sam. I have a contractor who has been extra sensitive lately or just seems to have a lot of anxiety. They're very apologetic. Anytime I ask them a work-related question or give any type of feedback, they respond with, oh my God, did I do something wrong? I'll fix it right away. Oh my God, I can hear it because I am that. I originally hired them to do graphics, but they helped with another major project. And now I don't think they have time to do both, but I really need them to do the graphics I originally hired them for. I'm trying to give them a chance before I hire someone else to take over the graphic parts. I don't know, they say I need advice for navigating this situation.
Well, it is hard when someone is like, you're feeling like you have to maybe coddle them a little bit around like, because you're trying to maybe, help them improve or even help the work situation so they can be more autonomous. It says, that they're giving them feedback. They're like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
Like panic mode. So I think a conversation is definitely needed, right? Just to communicate that like, this is how I work. This is how I give feedback. This is, not to give any personal attack or, that I'm not upset with you, but this is like how I need to communicate feedback so that we can improve together. And I think clearly communicating your expectations and that your expectations are not that he get it right the first time, right? Like whenever I've worked, especially in like the art space or, with any type of creative, like creative is also subjective, right? And so it's not even to say that he's doing a poor job, but just that maybe your vision is different or that the company, likes things done this way with their graphics. And so I think communicating that like your expectations are not that he nail it the first time, but that we have to have this feedback loop of communication so that he can better learn what the company, vibes with and like what the needs are, so that he can be more autonomous in the future, but that we're not upset by any stretch of the imagination about like how things have been going so far.
Totally.
And I think that that's really sometimes hard to do. I think people are naturally like sensitive to feedback, and wanting to make sure that like things are right for you the first time.
Yeah.
But I think communicating that that's not the culture that you have, and that, you know, this is how we're going to get better together. You know, I think that that was part of like how everyone on our team had to, like, we have to also prove it to them that we're not going to, you know, be mad at them, or they're not going to be getting in trouble if like something isn't exactly the way that we wanted it or I wanted it the first time they, you know, attempted it. But I think in other cultures, they may have experienced that. And that might be true for him. Like maybe in other cultures that he's worked in, people had expectations that he was going to get it right the first time. Otherwise, he was going to get fired or something. Right. So there might be something there for him that you can help unpack with a conversation of like, that might be how things were before, but that's not how things are here. If in fact, that is not how things are there.
Right. And it might also be how things, like, you know, you say it's a contractor. So it might be how things are actively in another company that he's supporting right now, which is, again, it's not your problem to solve, you know, but
it just can be challenging for him to like have to switch.
Right. Yeah. So having a conversation, you know, of, I don't know what's going on outside of the hours that you work for us. And, you know, maybe other people have, I'm sure other people have different processes or different cultures, you know, all that. But this is how we operate here, and then back it up with actions, because if that isn't how you operate, then no wonder, you know?
Yeah. And the other piece, like, I think that you maybe just need to also do a better job of communicating priorities and deadlines, because it said, you know, you don't think that he's going to be able to tell you no, but it took him 1 month to get 2 graphics completed for the latest request. So I think being more clear about your expectations is going to be really important all around, right? Like if you have an expectation of something being completed within a week, he needs to know that. He needs to be able to communicate to you if something is not going to be able to be done. And that's also important for you to communicate up front. It is hard for people to say no, especially when they feel like maybe their job is going to be at risk if they say no to you. And so I think communicating like, hey, it's totally okay if you can't get these things done, but it's more important that I know what is realistic for us to get done in the next week, right? Or can these be completed by X date? If not, I need to know that. Like, please don't just tell me you can, if that's an unrealistic expectation, right? So I think being on the same page about expectations and clearly communicating those is something that you need to do so that he can communicate what he's capable of and what is realistic and what is unrealistic for the job.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, you ready for our last story for the day?
I am.
Okay, submitted by...
I just feel like I'm like getting more and more nasally, and I'm annoyed by my own voice.
Don't worry, I am not annoyed by your voice at all. Okay, communication struggle says, I'm stuck in a pattern with a person on my team where I clearly express my needs and expectations, they agree to it, and then don't do it, even for something as simple as our end of day report. How do I break a negative cycle with someone I would love to keep on the team, but who frequently frustrates me with poor communication?
Yeah, you got to call this out like immediately, right? Like feedback loop immediately, right? Especially when you clearly express your needs, they're agreeing to it, and then she doesn't do it. I don't think going at it from a like disciplinary action right away is the approach. I think it's being curious. Hey, I know we discussed doing the end of day report. I noticed yesterday you didn't do it. Is there a reason that you didn't? Do you need some more support? Like, what did you have questions about it? Like coming from a curiosity standpoint so that they can either explain, like maybe they need more detail on what's expected. Like maybe they are unclear and they, you know, maybe they should have spoken up, but they didn't. So, you know, ask them. And then if there's no lack of clarity and they're like, oh yeah, I just forgot, be like, okay, well, it needs to be done end of, you know, like I need it to be done by the end of today. If you miss it, it needs to be done X. So I'll be looking for that later today. If it doesn't happen again, feedback loop. Hey, noticed it didn't happen again. We need to make sure that that's happening by X date. It's part of your role, right?
Yeah.
So I think nipping this quickly with feedback loops, sometimes we just let those things like simmer, or what's the word?
Because you let them slide because you don't want to be nitpicky or a micromanager, or, you don't feel like you should have to babysit them or hold their hand, but then you build resentment because they're not doing it, and then you explode. Not that that's ever happened to me, but
but it's like, also, if you don't address it right away, it's much harder to like have that conversation after 2 weeks with the person, right? It's like, oh, we just had this conversation yesterday. You said you were clear on it. Maybe you're not, right? So it allows us to also go in with like more curiosity and less resentment, I think, when you can like do it right away, like feedback loop, right?
Yeah.
Because also a lot of these things, like an end of day report, are their habits, right? And when someone is first trying to build a habit, it's hard. And so you might need to help support them in, do they need to set a reminder for themselves? Do they need to
stack this with something else they do,
Exactly. Like, do they need to, identify, oh, I always do this at the end of the day. I clean out my email and then I do my end of day, right? Like report. So help them identify like how they can start to remember this, because habits are hard to build. And so we don't want to fault them just for forgetting, because it's human nature to not be able to build a habit in one day. And so they don't want to like be, or it's not fair to like attack them, in a negative way. But I think coming at it quickly with curiosity is going to give you the best results here.
I do think too, I mean, this is obviously someone who's familiar with clockwork, because we talk a lot about the importance of the end of day report, the end of day stand up we've talked about on the RLC podcast. And we also talk about atomic habits. There's a couple episodes where we talk about it. And I think habit stacking in this case is so important. This is a conversation that we've had with our clients so many times about, like, they just won't do the end of day stand up. And I think it's sometimes those simple things. I'm not even asking them to do anything hard. I'm just asking them to give me this data point, to do this one action. And that's almost more frustrating, because like, well, if they're not going to do these simple things, what else aren't they doing? But sometimes it's those simple things that are harder to click, because maybe the team member doesn't understand the importance of it. They don't see the value in it. So perhaps that hasn't been properly communicated to them. Or, which is something we can reflect on as leadership of am I explaining why this is important clearly enough for them to understand why this is something you need to do and to prioritize it? Because as much as we say like, oh, just do it because I said so, that's never a reason that sticks for people. Like, then it just feels like then it builds just controlling them.
Them. Yeah. Like, now they're annoyed that they have to do this thing versus it being beneficial for everyone. And so I think, what you're saying is really key, right? Like, identify, like, what are the benefits for them of doing it? What are the benefits for the company? What are the benefits for the team of doing it? And make sure that they understand those things. And also, like, whenever like clients complain about that, like, oh, like, I tried the end of day stand up, but like, they just won't
no one does
do
it.
And I'm like, well, how often did you remind them? Like, how, like, are you just
we still have people on our team who forget?
Like, did you just let them not do it? It sounds like you just let them not do it and you never had a conversation about it, right? Like, and that to me is poor leadership. And so, like, if you want them to do it, they have to understand that it is important. Like you're saying, why is it important? So that they have some, stake in the game, and also get curious on how you can help them make it a habit versus just ignoring it and being like, well, no one did it, so I guess we're not doing it. It's like, no, that's not how you lead a team, right? Like, if this is truly important, then we will make it happen. And we just have to figure out how to support people in making that happen, Like, to me, it's just like, we have to communicate, versus just like being like, oh,
just do what I said.
Like, no one did it the first time I asked. Like, my kid didn't do anything the first time I asked, but I didn't, like, you don't just give up, right?
Yeah. This is like not a hot take. I think it's like a lukewarm take. But we work with adults who
we do,
like, shocking. I know sometimes.
We love you, all our clients out there.
No, who you know, like there's nothing wrong with them being critically thinking or needing more reason than just because I said so to do something.
Oh, yes.
You know, so
Yes.
because I'm asking you to do it is not always going to be enough of a reason for someone to remember to do something or to prioritize doing something. And I know that that means that it's harder for you as a leader because you have to get people
Explain
invested or
Yeah.
explain yourself or spend more time. To you, I know that you would love to be able to just do it because I said so. But that it just doesn't work, and then it just builds resentment on both sides. So rather than frustrate yourself, frustrate them, like just put the little bit of effort in ahead of time
Yes.
to get people invested in whatever it is, and then they're more likely to do it, or maybe need less reminders or whatever. Yeah. I mean, this is my perspective as a team member. I'm sure that that's frustrating to hear, you know, because
no, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Because like when I was in corporate, right, like, and same thing now, as an entrepreneur, there are still things that like I'm required to do or have to do or should do, right? And
yeah,
my personality, especially, like I'm an Enneagram type 3, and like even though my like job is built around efficiency and my background is around efficiency, it's also like baked within my core being of like efficiency. Like that type 3s are just very efficient. Like we want the most for the least, you know?
Yeah.
And if ever I was like working in the corporate world, like I am a rule follower by nature. Like it's also part of my personality. Like I like to follow the rules. If Tyler parks in like the Dillard's pickup spot when we are going to go in the mall, like I'm having anxiety. I'm like,
totally.
We're not here for Dillard's pickup. Like we can't park here, you know?
Remember we did it at Starbucks? We parked in the mobile order pickup and we didn't have a mobile order.
Yeah, like rebels. Like that is not me, right? Like
no, me neither.
I
Never.
like to follow the rules, but there comes a point when I'm working or moving towards a goal that if something does not make sense to me, I don't want to do it anymore, right? Like I have to understand why we're doing this and if it's really beneficial. Otherwise, I would prefer to find a better way, right? Or I would prefer to spend my time in other places that are going to
totally relate to this
forward, right? And so even though I am a rule follower, I will not just like blindly follow things that I'm moving toward. Like I will blindly follow the do not park here, right? Because like in theory, I sort of understand the concept, but yeah, it's annoying. But for me, like that's one of the rules that like I'm just not going to break, you know, because it doesn't move me forward towards the goals that I want in my life to break
just
that
park
rule.
7 spots back.
Yeah, just walk a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But for things like the end of day stand up, just as an example, if I didn't understand why I was doing this and it was taking up my time that I could be doing something else, then I would probably be the person to be like, why do we do this? Like I'd be and I was always that person in corporate, which really triggered Tyler when we were like in meetings. He would be like looking at me when something like did not make sense that we were doing. And he's like, she's going to say something. She's going to say something. Oh gosh. Yeah. And sure enough, I'm like, I don't understand why we're doing this, or this doesn't make sense. You know, like in big leadership meetings and make everyone like, I would question leadership when there was something that I was like, I don't agree with this, or like, I need to better understand why we would do that, because it seems like it would make more sense if we did X. Right. And that's another thing. I would always try to provide a like solution that would make more sense. And so maybe this is also an opportunity to be collaborative with your team. Maybe they are that type of person and they're not understanding the value, or maybe they even have a solution that would make more sense, right, for what the goal or outcome is of what we're doing. But if they don't understand the goal or outcome, then I think they'll be frustrated too. So I totally agree with this.
So good. Such a good point too about like your personality, your Enneagram 3. I'm an Enneagram 6, which means that I would make up a reason as to why you're doing this. And like, oh, I don't feel like, oh, they want this because they're looking for a reason to fire me.
To fire you.
No? So I would make up a reason about why this is scary to do. And I don't want to do it because it's safer if they don't, you know what I mean? So
if they don't know all the things I'm doing today. Yeah.
Or vice versa. I'm going to put every single thing I do on here because then I can show how valuable I am. So I have job security. So, you know, I think it's just important to know these things about your team too.
Yeah. Yeah. We love a personality test.
Love nothing more than a personality test. Okay.
All right, friends.
That's it. That's
a
all.
wrap. Except go to dearworkwives.com and submit your story for next week so that we can talk about you.
Yep. I would love to talk about you. All right.
right.
Well, hopefully by next episode, you're sounding better and feeling better. Yeah.
I know. It's really tragic. I hope to not grace you with this disgusting voice next week.
Okay. Well, we'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.